Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man, so let's get right to it. Okay, so a few weeks back, there was some paperwork that leaked online. There was some alleged paperwork at the time, and it alluded to some things about the FBG Duck case and the Oblock RICO case, because these are one and the same, right? You have some folks who claimed Oblock, like Muwop, who are accused of plotting out, shooting, and killing FBG Duck, famed rapper from Chicago, who ended up losing his life about 2 years ago, right? Now, what's crazy is there's a report that came out that's confirming all this now. And it just was released by the Chicago Sun-Times. And they put this thing on the headline of their paper. So just to let people know that this is not any type of cap or anything like that. So let's actually look at that headline. Here it goes right there. So on the front page of the Chicago Sun-Times, you see that they have FBG Duck's face, and you see the headline. It says FBG Duck had a $100,000 bounty on his head, informant. So basically, they're saying that based on the paperwork that they have, and I'm not sure if it's the same paperwork that went live, or excuse me, the same paperwork that was available out there for everybody on social media that was circulating about a couple weeks ago, but it seems like they feel like the informant that's listed in there is given enough credible information that they could put this on the headline or on the front page of their newspaper. So man, this is crazy. So let's actually get into what this news story said. Now, they have a digital version of this story, so we're going to take a look at that, right? All right, so you see the headline is the same. Now, underneath the headline, it says this: Duck had a price on his head. A tipster told police. Records examined by the Sun-Times show. Another informant told them it started off at $50,000 before being raised to $100,000. Now, this kind of coincides with that paperwork that was circulating out there on social media. And a lot of people are still digging through that, finding different facts about King Von. They said that King Von put a lot of money on FBG Duck's head. They said that a lot of things went down in there. But man, let's get to the story. Now, in the story, it says this: a $100,000 bounty was placed on the head of rapper FBG Duck before he was shot and killed outside a high-end store in the Gold Coast over 2 years ago, according to police records reviewed by the Chicago Sun-Times. Now, for the Chicago Sun-Times to put this information out there, it lets you know that there were some things in there that they found credible. They're held to a higher level of scrutiny because they're a news organization, an official news organization. So they've got to stick to their journalistic integrity and all that, right? Now, it continues by saying FBG Duck, whose real name is Carlton Weekly, was shot as many as 21 times in the daytime attack on August 4th, 2020. That also left his girlfriend and someone else waiting in line with him at the Dolce & Gabbana store on 68th and East Oak Street wounded. So they're talking about the fact that his girlfriend and somebody else that was with him also got wounded. Remember the video footage? There were other people who were actually trying to shoot back and things like that. Even FBG Duck himself tried to protect himself by shooting back, but something happened. They said that his gun might have jammed. There was some issue because, he had one of those long extended clips on it. So it's just a horrible situation all in all, right? Now, it also says that 2 weeks later, an informant in Chicago police custody told detectives and FBI agents that someone affiliated with the Black Disciples street gang had offered up $50,000 to anyone that killed Weekly, and later raised the bounty to $100,000, according to police records. Now, they're saying that there is an official informant that they have with this inside knowledge that talked directly to the police there and FBI agents. So if that doesn't raise antennas, and maybe people already know what's going on with this situation as far as, the streetwise or whatever, but for them to say that this person is already talking to the FBI and for that paperwork to mysteriously be out there and kind of say the same thing, seems like it might be credible, right? Now, it also says that another tipster told investigators, meaning a separate informant, in quotes, Duck had a price on his head, the records show. The name of the person said to have placed the bounty was redacted, but the informant offered some crucial identifying information. The person had bought custom-made necklaces for 4 members of the Black Disciples Oblock faction. Now, to be honest, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't talk about the fact that King Von has been seen, on video handing out Oblock chains. Remember, he went to that famous jewelry store in Atlanta, bought a whole bunch of Oblock chains, had them diamond encrusted and everything, and gave them out to people. And in the last video that I did about this subject, they said that he handed them out to people ceremoniously after the shooting had been done. Now, nobody can confirm this because the name was redacted in the paperwork. Now, an FBI affidavit filed in March of 2021 seeking permission to examine data from cell phones belonged to 3 suspects in the shooting. Note that slain rapper King Von, real name Davon Bennett, had appeared in a YouTube video posted days after Weekly's killing that shows him acquiring valuable Oblock pendants for his associates. So they're already trying to connect King Von to this situation. Now, Bennett is perhaps the most notable figure associated with Oblock, a set linked to the Parkway Gardens low-income housing development near 64th Street and South Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. So, talking about, the fact that even King Von, you can see in the pictures here, he had 64th on him, always was like 64th, not 63rd, things like that, right? And that he's probably the most notable person from there that they could say that, man, he might be the person who handed out those chains. Even though most people have already accepted the fact that they think that King Von is the person whose name is redacted, it hasn't been proven yet, so nobody knows. Now, it continues by also saying this in the story. It says, in a federal racketeering and murder indictment in September 2021, months after Bennett was gunned down in Atlanta, prosecutors accused 5 Oblock members and associates of killing Weekly Charles C. Murder Liggins, Kenneth Kenny or Kenny Mac Robertson, to Carlos Los Offred, Christopher C. Thank Thomas, and Marcus Muwop Smart. Now, Muwop is probably the most notable person from that list. You see him with King Von a lot in the past. You've seen him try to even have his own little shot in the record industry or the recording industry by dropping some singles. He's got a joint single with King Von, probably the most notable name on this list, definitely, right? Now, it says that they're all awaiting trial and a 6th suspect lost his life just over a month earlier, police records show. The FBI affidavit says Bennett talked in the YouTube video about different jewelry designs for particular members of his crew, including Muwop and C. Murder. Obviously, man, they're trying to draw the comparisons without saying it. They're trying to say like, yo, the FBI or the paperwork that we've got that lists the informants that talks about what he was doing is similar to things that we've seen King Von do on YouTube and stuff like that. Now, it says that the informant told investigators Robertson didn't want the jewelry and that this was because he was a member of the Gangster Disciples Dipset faction, records show, though another court filing says he considered Parkway Gardens his second home. So they're saying that Robertson was one person out of the crew, the guy, his name is Kenny or Kenny Mac, who didn't want the chains. He was like, yo, I don't want the chains because I'm from a different set, so I couldn't be walking around with y'all stuff on me. It just wouldn't look right to me. And they're saying there's somebody else who says that's not correct. Now, Weekly was identified as a member of STL-EBT, or Tuckerville faction of the Gangster Disciples, which the police say has aligned itself with the gang's Jarrell City faction and had an ongoing feud with Oblock. And we've seen this in the music. We've seen this play out in all the drill records, the back and forth between Tuckerville, STL-EBT, and Oblock, and 300, and it starts back even with Chief Keef and now, more recently with King Von and them, right? Now, according to police records, a friend said Weekly had been leery of letting people know his whereabouts because he had received death threats from opposing gang members in the drill rap scene. So basically letting it be known that in the drill rap scene, he was already aware of the threats that he had been receiving and was trying to watch his steps out there. But unfortunately, they were able to get to him, you know what I mean? Now, he had reason to be worried. Police reviewed surveillance footage from another Oak Street store and heard someone on a cell phone saying he saw Duck less than half an hour before the shooting. So obviously they have spotters or somebody throughout the city letting people know when they see somebody. So he had, even the police are saying like, yo, he had every right to be worried about this situation because there were people who were on his head. There was somebody who was waiting at a store and was telling people like on the phone, yo, I seen Duck, like just spotted him out, you know what I mean? Now the person on the phone walked into the Montclair store with someone else saying someone with a gun was giving chase. Now they're saying that this all took place an hour before Duck lost his life. Now the search warrant affidavit says Oblock members tore out of Parkway Gardens about 20 minutes before the shooting, leaving in a Ford Fusion and a Chrysler 300. Investigators later used automated license plate readers and various cameras to track the car's paths to the crime scene. So basically using technology to watch the cars go from Oblock all the way to where the crime took place. At 4:26 p.m. on the day of the shooting, the cars pulled in front of Weekly's girlfriend's sedan on Oak Street, according to the affidavit, and two men jumped out of the Ford and targeted Weekly, and two others got out the Chrysler and fired at the rapper and his girlfriend. So basically, this starts with the person who spotted him an hour earlier. They spotted him, said, hey, I seen Duck. They get the call, and allegedly, that's when everybody jumps into those two different cars, goes downtown, and start opening fire. The gunman then drove off in two cars, which were registered to Alfred and Robertson. What's crazy about this is, it was said that they had tried to get these cars, had got these cars like a couple of days earlier, maybe even a week earlier, like they were brand new cars, and then tried to return them or something like that. Now, the police records show investigators had high confidence linking ballistic evidence recovered at the scene to 5 other shootings in which 1 person was killed and 5 wounded. No one has been arrested in those shootings, according to court records. So they feel like they have enough information from the shooting scene that they can link those the ballistics to another shooting. Now, Robertson was the first person arrested in Weekly's killing. He was taken into custody in February 2021, weeks after being charged with first-degree murder in a shooting in Dalton, in which a man was killed and 2 women were wounded. Robertson, who's in federal custody, also has been indicted on dozens of felony charges in that case. So Kenny Mack already had a murder charge and a shooting over his head. So it looks like he's already, man, regardless, he's going to have 2 different cases to fight in this situation, right? The conflict between Tuckerville and Oblock has been memorialized often in disrespectful rap songs and videos, including a video Weekly released in July 2020. In it, he rapped, said I wasn't going to diss the dead, and okay, I did it. In the affidavit, an FBI agent said Weekly then mentions in a degrading manner 9 names, aliases, and or monikers of deceased individuals, all believed to be black disciples. So they're saying that song that FBG Duck dropped, and y'all know what song I'm going to talk about, Dead, you could add in the rest, is what led to the shooting that took place, man, which is crazy, man. So it seems like there was a lot of moving pieces in this in order for the shooting to take place. And I know there's been people who are close to FBG Duck who have come out and to dispute all this information, but it's just wild to say the least. And for this to be front page news now in Chicago goes to show how heavily that they weigh this case, or all the gravity behind it, right? But y'all tell me what y'all think, man. With all this new information, and obviously there's some alleged informants involved in this situation, there's people with some inside information. Do y'all feel like when it comes to the RICO case, that Muwop and the rest of these guys who are allegedly from Oblock or associated with Oblock are going to be found guilty? It seems like the public opinion already believes that they did it. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section. Now, with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content. And we out of here. Peace.